Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our presentation. Thank you for coming here today. So, today we are going to present about global success of K-pop. Our presentation consists of three topics: history, the spread of K-pop to the public, and international impacts. There are five members in our group, each of whom will present on each topic as follows. The history topic is the responsibility of Precirat Thongjan. The next member is Supakan Phathong, who will present the spread of K-pop to the public topic. And the international impact topic is taught by Sutirak Botwi. Then, Yusupon Vishamuk will conclude after all three topics have been discussed. And the one who has responsibility in the opening section is me, Trin Deparathokin. We are third year students in the Department of Electrical Engineering at KMITL. We hope our presentation doesn't take too long and you will enjoy it. I guess you may have heard K-pop more or less, maybe through music or various social media. And today we are going to present about K-pop in more insight. Okay, let's move on to Peshirat.
Thank you, Tin. Let's talk about history of K-pop. K-pop started when Americans used American rhythm and used Korean lyrics as a way to teach in school. This type of songs has been developed to tour. After liberations from Japanese occupations, Western culture was introduced by troops. U.S. Army has brought various music, such as blues, jazz, and rock and roll. As a result, Korean cinema and commercial were created and developed during the war. The government had banned a lot of types of songs because their content involved with political. So ballad songs became more popular than before. In the 90s, Korean musicians modified Europop and American popular music styles in their music. So Teddy and Boys also debuted and developed their songs based on these styles, which have made huge success in the South Korean music industry. The huge popularity of Southern and Boys among teenagers shift forward of the South Korean music industry to teen singer pop music, which is called K-pop nowadays. H.O.T. were the first group that debuted in idol form. The group was a huge success and the fans copied the group hairstyle and fashion. Their success was followed by that of young boy and girl idol groups. Early in the late 90s, the training system has become an important part of the official policy. 21st century rise of Hallyu. By the beginning of the 21st century, the K-pop market has slummed, and early K-pop idol groups that had seen success in the 90s were on the decline. However, the success of boy band Tongbanshiki after its debut in 2003 marked the resurgence of idol groups to Korean entertainment and the growth of K-pop as a part of Hallyu. Now, let's move on to the next part.
Thank you very much, Peshrat. Let's talk about the spread of K-pop to the public. The form of publishing K-pop songs to listeners is quite diverse. The common way that agencies use is to release the music on the streaming platform. The streaming platform is easy to access. People can listen to the songs anywhere and anytime they want if they can access the internet. The important is that listening to a streaming application is copyrighted. Every hour, the streaming app will rank music charts based on the number of times they listen and the number of unique listeners. Every K-pop songs will be released on the streaming application to have the same standard. Let's now look at this slide shows a list of various streaming applications in Korea. Melon, Genie, Flow, Vibe, and Bugs. And because the streaming apps have music charts for each app, the rankings on these charts are also taken into account for the music show scores. Be nominated for weekly award. What are music shows? Music shows are another way that give the idol to show their performance. As the block in the middle of this slide, Korean music shows are as follows: The Show, Music Bank, M Countdown, Music Core, Inkigayo, and Show Champion. Moreover, the competition scale, which is larger than music shows, are the year-end awards such as Melon Music Awards (MMA), Mnet Asian Music Awards (MAMA), and Asia Artist Awards (AAA), and other things. Are you still with me? In addition to this, I would like to say that the strategy used to make the K-pop songs well-known worldwide is the artists use social media to communicate to their fans, and their company also use social media to get attention from the public. For example, releasing comeback teasers and making film, promoting a video on YouTube, and other content to make fan club and artists getting closer. Let's move on to Sutirak.
Thank you very much, Supergas. For my sessions, I will talk about the international impact of K-pop. But before I'm going to present on my topics, I guess the question that will pop up in your minds would be, how do you know that K-pop is famous? So I'm going to give you some evidence to prove that for you. Here is the chart that we get from the Korean Creative Content Agencies, or we normally hear this as KCCAs, which tells about the overall K-pop economy from 2015 to 2017. This graph is representing the export value of K-pop in recent years. As we see from the graph, it's going to rise up all the time. It rises from $381 million in 2015 to $442.6 million in 2016, and continuing rise up to $512.6 million in 2017. For these features, we illustrate the export routes from our previous charts. So it tells us which parts of the world that K-pop exports most. It's come out that Japan is in top place of 62.5%, followed by China, Southeast Asia, Europe, North America, and others. For this slide, we're going to express about change of K-pop. Start from a chart on the website. This chart shows the export value in each continent from 2015 to 2017. After that, we analyze the data to form a chart on the right side, which is the development chart of K-pop. From this chart, we can see two obvious things. First is K-pop developments being positively. None of them falls. The second thing is, in recent years, the continent that K-pop is influenced most is North America. In brief summaries, K-pop export is increasing every year, so we can express them in terms of increase in the number of K-pop listeners each year. If the listener is increases, generally the Korean culture will pass to them through their music too. So we can say that K-pop is impact worldwide in its culture aspect. For examples, many countries have organized a K-pop cover dance contest events for people who love dancing or love K-pop to show their performance. Also, many of the fans started to learn the Korean language to understand the meanings. Another more example is impact Asian cultures because they get interested in what the other is. So now let's move on to the Yosopon parts.
Thank you very much, Sujirak. Now, we are nearing the end of our presentation. Okay, we have presented 3 topics. First, history. That we have given you about a brief history of K-pop and a development in various styles. As a result, how it became K-pop in nowadays. Second, the spread of K-pop to the public. We have shown you about the streaming platform, music shows, the year-end award, and social media, which artists and their company use to get attention from the public. Third, international impacts. That we have discussed about the explanation of the reason for K-pop popularity based on economic and affecting global cultures. We hope our presentation will be useful. Thank you for your attention.